between games right now. And before we get into the next one, it's discussion time. This is Table Topics, where we read stories from Reddit having to do with situations in the tabletop world. We will react, discuss, and give our opinions on the chosen topics for you to enjoy and possibly take back to your gaming table. I'm your host, Kalee, and my guest today is Ashley.
Hello.
Today's topic is flirting with disaster. So let's get into it. So flirting with disaster, I like to have little creative names. But basically this is dating stories. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, I think it's going to be early dating stories. So, well, you know, you're still being flirtatious. You're still feeling people out. I think I already know the answer to this question. But do you have a dating experience involved with board games?
Yeah, for sure. So Derek and I met while working together when we both lived in the Dallas area. But we met at work, actually. And I got the job through someone that I had known in college. So when I started at this job, I kind of got brought under his wing, got brought into this friend group. And it just so happened that Derek was a part of this friend group. So I got invited to the guy that I knew from college's birthday party. And that was the first time that I met Derek. And it was at actually an arcade type of bar. So that was fun. And then hanging out with the friend group and the weeks that passed after that, a lot of that was game nights. We would go to people's houses, hang out. Everyone would bring their dogs, have a couple drinks. And that's where I really got to know Derek, was hanging out at game nights and just hanging out with that friend group. So a lot of fun memories surrounding that. There was a very long time that we hid the fact that we were dating.
I love that. Okay.
Although everyone knew, but
it's one of those very open secrets.
Yeah.
And then you tell people and they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Like, oh, my goodness.
So maybe some hiding the fact that we were either coming to game night together, things of that nature, but lots of fun memories for me.
So let me ask you this, because I think this is going to tie into some stories, and also this is something certainly in my younger dating life I was privy to. Mm-hmm. Did you play games as your authentic self during that time period, or do you think you edited a little bit because you were trying to catch somebody's attention?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of conscious behavior. I did know early on in our relationship that one of his past relationships had some drama surrounding some game nights. So I think maybe there was some conscious behavior there on my end to not that I would create that much drama in a game night anyways, but you know, you're extra careful in those situations. And then the same for the fact that early in our relationship, like I know, and I still to this day, I know that in social settings with Derek, he very much likes to like kind of do his own thing. Like he's like a wanderer and will talk to everyone, wants to hang out with everyone. And I knew that he didn't like in a relationship when someone was on his side all the time, like had to be like by him all the time.
Oh, interesting.
And so I'm a very much like, I'm outgoing in certain situations, but sometimes I like to rely on having the comfort of my friends next to me. So I definitely made conscious efforts in those game nights to maybe veer off to a different table and play games with other people and do other things.
Be like, look, I'm doing the thing that you want me.
Yeah. Which sounds so silly now looking back at it.
But it is. So that's funny because Nathan was kind of the same way, because we were dating as 19-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And so I was coming from high school dating, which is we do everything together and we meet after every class and we text all the time and you go on my family vacation. And like this sort of activity. And Nathan, I don't know if it's from a real cowboy movie or making fun of a cowboy movie, but there's this line like, I'm a loner and a loner's gotta be alone. And that's how, like, that was very much Nathan's vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And so even when we started dating, he would be like, okay, when I'm doing such and such activities, I can't text you.
Personal space.
If I'm at studio, because we were both architecture students, if I'm in studio, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not texting you. And I'd be like, but that's not how relationships work.
No, love me.
And so it was this thing. And I tell a lot of people, I'm like, I learned independence in the context of a relationship.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And like, I found myself, because we started dating third semester of college and we had 4 more years because we were in a 5-year program. And that was it. I did my growing up with a boyfriend and then a fiance and then a husband. And so it was a different experience than some people. But I've definitely been the person. I don't know that I did this with Nathan because I learned early on that he was competitive, but I've definitely checked myself if I'm interested in somebody to maybe not be as good as I could be.
Oh, no.
I've thrown some games in my time.
No.
But then I loved playing ERS with the boys in high school because I couldn't win anyway.
Yeah.
I could be as good as I wanted.
Wasn't happening.
They were better. And so, interesting.
Yeah, when Derek and I first started dating, he won every single game. So, like, same situation. I did not have the option. I think to his dismay, since I've gotten into board games, I've gotten quite a bit better.
We love that.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. He doesn't love that. But I do.
Like, no, why can't I win all the time? Nathan and I are pretty evenly matched. We played Sea Salt and Paper the other day for the first time for us. I know it's been around for a while, but it was the first for us. And we played a round that I felt really good about. Like, because you have 2 options at the end of every round to either just like call it and score or challenge the other person to try and beat your score. And if they can't, you get extra bonuses.
Oh, that's fun.
And they get extra like debits. And it's really cool. So first round, I got like 8 points pretty quick. And I was like, call it. Like, see what you can do here. And he couldn't do it. So I got like 12, 13 points right off the bat. And I was feeling really good about it. And then the next round, I think I also hit 7, which is the cutoff. Within like 3 draws. It was crazy. And I didn't realize he had wanted to drop the like practice round score. So I was like, okay, my score is 21. And so he was convinced that I had gotten 21 points in 1 round.
Oh, no.
So the next several rounds, he was complaining like, I got 14, but I guess it's not that good. He loves to be just enough whiny that I'm not irritated by it.
Maybe that's a man thing because Derek does the same thing and then he'll end up winning the game after. And I'm like, if you could I just want to like, you're winning. Stop complaining.
Yeah. And so it was very funny. And so we didn't actually get all the way to the score. And then when I figured out what his problem was and I dropped my first round score, we were pretty equal. But then we'd started playing at like 9:30, so we were done. And we called it, and he had 26 and I had 25, so he won anyway. I'm like, well,
see?
All that complaining.
All that for nothing.
And you were fine. You were fine the whole time.
Yeah, Derek and I have a pretty good pattern of the first, like, 1 to 3 times we'll play a game, I'll typically win. But then after that, once he, like, has the chance to play it through a couple of times and actually, like, grasp what's going on, it's over for me. So I cherish those first couple of times we open a new game.
I have to hold on to that.
Yeah.
That's my time to shine.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into some stories.
I'm excited.
This first story is from a deleted account from r/AITAH. Am I the problem for being upset with my girlfriend's behavior in a board game? I, 22 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 23 female, for a few months now. last night we decided to play a board game, Catan, the online version with 2 bots. It was my first time playing it. I won the first game. She wanted a rematch, and we started a new game. She said she wanted to beat me. I said, go for it. I placed a thief on one of her tiles, and of course, we started a little thief war. Also, this post is full of smiley faces. But I'm not going to narrate them. Just read it with a very sunny personality. We started a little thief war, smiley face. No worries. It's all fun. Then we decided to go for a truce. I let her build the longest road, and I'd get some grain if I needed it. No thieving on anyone's tiles. She then decided to thieve again on my lands. After having done it a lot, like 5 to 6 times already, then she said, I'm going to let you win because I want to. Heart. Just love the emojis.
Very animated.
I became quite upset, and I don't know why. I asked her why she'd do this, and she said she wanted to hurt me, but in a cute way. Ooh. And started laughing. Am I right to be upset with her? I've done bad jokes in the past, and she was upset, and I apologized. She's apologized as well, but I feel like a humorous problem for being upset over a board game.
I feel like you shouldn't, especially when you're just playing with your partner, you should never make a truce in a board game because that kind of ruins the board game. But that's just me. Maybe that's me being competitive. But I feel like if he just played and maybe after maybe it's the same thing. After she gets some practice, she's going to be really good at it and she might be coming back and beating you bad.
Yeah, I think the problem here is maybe this phrase. She wanted to hurt me, but in a cute way.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of way is a cute way to hurt someone.
Weird. Like, we can sometimes bring our baggage to the table.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
If you're mad that someone has not done the dishes in 4 days and you decide you're going to get your revenge on them in Catan.
In a cute way.
In a cute way. Heart. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really going to feel fulfilling.
No.
And it certainly doesn't do the dishes.
No.
But it's okay that he was put a little bit off by that.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, Nathan stepped on landmines he didn't know he was going for plenty of times and had to apologize. And I've done similar things and apologized. And it's okay to feel a little icky.
Yeah, of course you have that general reaction when something happens. You're like, oh, you suck. Like, I can't believe you just did that to me. But like, that's also a part of playing the game. And I think we've talked about it before in another episode, but you almost like respect the person for making that cool of a move too, because you're like, yeah, you did that. 100%, I get it.
100%. I mean, I love Flamecraft. I don't think I've beaten Nathan at Flamecraft. One-on-one.
Never?
I don't think so. I think I felt really good last time because his approach is the fancy dragons, which are the like victory point conditions. And I felt like I had held him to about half as many fancy dragons as he usually gets.
Starts to become sabotage at that point.
Okay. And I was ahead by 9 or something when we totaled. And I was like, I'm feeling pretty safe. And then we add up the fancy dragon cards.
No.
And somehow he still passes me with only like 3 or 4 that work. And I was just like,
yeah, you just have to have that reaction.
You just always beat me at my own game. And, you know, so it's, you can feel those feelings, but then they go away and you play again.
Yeah, you just got to have that deep sigh and fine.
But I think it is, you know, I think it is a comfort level in relationships to be very competitive.
Yeah, totally.
This seems a little bit facetious. Like, I'm going to let you win.
Nitpicky.
Because I want to. And then, oh, I wanted to hurt you, but in a cute way.
Yeah.
That's a little bit, I don't love it. But, and, you know, just like you and Derek playing games and being competitive and being independent, like, a relationship can respect that.
Yeah.
And grow from that. And I think that's very fun.
Yeah. That's like I said earlier, the truce is just like, if you're going to set a truce, then you're not actually playing the game. And then...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've become such a big proponent of honesty in all things. And I'm not like the brutally honest person. Absolutely not. That's a different thing. I have different opinions on that. But I've been such a proponent of honesty, especially since graduating college and becoming an adult. But I was sort of going through that journey even in college, where I don't want people to be like, oh, I had such a good time, it was so wonderful, if they really didn't.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the same thing in games, is like, I would rather you go for my throat
Beat me so bad.
how you want to play. And I'll be like,
oh, I better get my stuff together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I will respect that than if you're like, okay, well, it's my first time at this game night and I don't want to like seem too overpowered or whatever. And I'm going to change something about myself to suit this activity.
Yeah.
I'm much more of like, be your authentic self and I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And chances are I'm going to love it.
No, I agree completely.
I'm gonna get so into it.
I mean, that's valid though, too, because there are couples that can't play games together because they get so heated and like snappy at one another. So
you've got to balance that. But I love authenticity. I'm all about it.
Agreed. What are the comments on this one?
Top comment from Lost Needleworker 285. Hope someone found them. Not the problem. I'll let you win is code for I'm losing, but I'm a sore loser, so I'm going to ruin it for everyone.
Oh, okay. That's valid too.
OP responds, honestly, that's the vibe. I could tell she was very salty after I won my first ever game against her. And although I was just like, yeah, I won, without rubbing it in her face.
Are you? I'm just kidding.
We don't know. We don't. Going by your story, we'll just have to take your word for it. Laughing Pink Hughes says, I'll preface by saying I know nothing about this game, but saying she wanted to hurt you, even if it's in a quote unquote cute way, is weird. Odd. I wouldn't say something like that to my partner, not even jokingly.
No.
OP responds, I know, right? I asked her why she thinks it's okay to hurt the people you like, even in a fun way. Shoot.
Serious.
I know it's a way to show love or appreciation, but I really don't like it. What?
Hurting? What?
That's not a... Well, son, no. That's not a way to show...
Oh.
Okay. Rewind. I know it's a way to show love or appreciation, but I really don't like it. I'm upset because, to be honest with you, she often has an attitude of, I'm better than you, in a playful way, to be fair. It's all fun and games, but it's really starting to upset me.
Oh.
Not just in games. I like to make her laugh, and she keeps calling me her little jester. Oh no, oh no.
Oh no.
Her little jester, or her little autistic clown.
Oh.
After I call her my princess. No.
Oh.
And she has this demeaning effect on me. It was fun in the beginning, but it's starting to get on my nerves, and I wonder if she even respects me or if she has some sort of superiority complex. I never call her names, even when joking. I don't like to even jokingly upset the people I date. Actually, once I did that in some banter, she got upset, and so I never did that again.
Well, that just took a turn. I thought some witty banter turned real quick into some not so great behavior from OP's significant other. It sounds like she's a little bit belittling or not respecting him very much, which is really sad.
Yeah, this is not a great dynamic. And if you're using autistic as...
That's not okay.
A demeaning adjective?
No, that's not okay.
Like that.
No.
That's not fair. Yeah, I think maybe OP is just realizing here that he's uncomfortable with this.
Yeah, maybe this is the catalyst to his realization. Maybe OP needs to find someone new to play Catan with.
Or just play with 3 bots next time.
Just play by yourself.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, in all seriousness, that doesn't sound like a healthy relationship dynamic.
No, I'm sorry.
So someone sees some of the same issues we do. And this is, I'm just going to call them stoic because I can't read the back half. She is a sore loser, which speaks to her lack of maturity and basic insight. That, along with her strange, snarky rhetoric and her superiority complex, are clearly signs of self-delusion after losing to a first-time player twice within hours.
Whoa.
This is who she is, and she's not hiding it. Believe her, and it's not going to change for the better. Not the problem.
Whoa.
Interestingly, that has downvotes.
It's a little harsh.
It's a little harsh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. People don't like this comment. Okay. This is a little Reddit debate here. So Bulbasaur Ranch responds and goes, "Wow, OP, Sigmund Freud over here has diagnosed your girlfriend from a single post and didn't even need to meet her. Oh. Incredible skill. We sure are lucky this guy has some clear insight into the mind of your girl."
I sense some pettiness.
Armchair Psychologist Award recipient dishing out free diagnosis. Great.
Oh no.
All right, so they got in a little fight there in the comments.
There's some jumping.
I think this might just be his realization that this behavior is going to carry over into other facets of life.
Yeah, it sounded like it might be a little bit bigger than just Catan.
He doesn't get to celebrate his wins for free,
Yeah, and that's what you want in a relationship. You want someone that you can have by your side in the tough times and also in the high times when you're celebrating and winning at life. So to not have someone that supports you in that capacity that's a bummer.
Yeah. It was 4 months ago. Maybe he moved on.
I hope.
But he also deleted his account, so I can't.
Oh no.
Can't know. So this was some slightly immature problems from some low 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
This story I found on r/datingover40.
Oh.
So now we're going to see if the same problem exists.
Oh.
With 2 extra decades of experience.
So, okay. What do we got?
This comes from r/datingover40 from user Landing the Plane. Girlfriend lost her mind over losing a card game. Did I overreact? Just had a horrible evening after playing cards. She taught me a new game yesterday, and we played it again tonight. Apparently, I was taking too long to count my points, and because she hadn't scored any points in that hand, she was apparently beside herself with anger that I was taking so long, as it meant she wouldn't be able to remember the cards played and therefore would be at a disadvantage. She snapped and said, "Well, if you're going to take so long to count, then we need to introduce a new rule where I can see all your cards." I thought she was joking and laughed as I said no. She stood up, threw her cards on the table, and said, "Well, I'm not gonna freaking play then," and burst into tears as she tried to storm off. I very sternly told her that was not okay and that she was being ridiculous. We continued on with her saying it wasn't fair if I'm not going to be quicker, as she probably could have scored more points otherwise. And she got more and more angry and told me that if I didn't like it, I therefore hated her, and then I should leave and she'd never talk to me again. This is maybe worse than the 20-year-olds.
Oh my.
This is bad. Admittedly, I told her that I'd never seen an adult act like this, and it was something I expected from a child, which I'm sure wound her up. I told her it was just a game, to which she was incensed. Eventually, I managed to calm things down by saying that we would scrap that hand as if it never happened and move on. She agreed, but then started getting angry at me because I looked grumpy and wasn't talking to her. This is so silly. I told her that I was completely taken aback and felt really uncomfortable and didn't know how to deal with the situation, as she had been so unreasonable and not acknowledged it. But that started it all off again. We're meant to be swapping presents and things tonight, and I really don't want to. I'm not in the mood. She's been telling me I need to change and not act so standoffish towards her, and that the game means a lot to her. She's eventually said sorry, but I don't think she meant it. And the evening is awkward and unpleasant now, with her continuing to occasionally say that she thinks I hate her. She also still says that I was wrong, and when questioned on it, she claims she's never done that over a game before, but that other boyfriends have been better at handling situations and just moved on. I kept reiterating that I was calm but stern, as it wasn't acceptable, and that I've never had to deal with a temper tantrum over a card game from an adult before. I feel bad right now. She's 39 and I'm 40, by the way. So at least he's 40.
Over 40. Supposed to be over 40, buddy.
So I can't think of a game where the speed at which you count points
impacts your score,
affects the next person's ability to score.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Like she clearly wants to be able to count cards. So yeah, so she's upset that she can't remember the cards because he's taking too long. Okay, so let's say it's something like hand and foot, because in hand and foot you can take the top 5 of the deck if you want the first card, but it doesn't always make sense unless there's other things under the top card that you want. Sometimes. So she's mad that she can't remember these cards
because he's taking
too long. So she says, well, if you're going to take that long, then we need to introduce a new rule where I get to see all your cards.
No.
Which is no.
I mean, I guess I understand if I had like some sort of an ability in a game or something that let me look at the next upcoming cards and I had to remember what was there while a person in front of me was taking a turn. I guess that would annoy me a little bit in some capacity if they were taking 500 years. But I don't know. She's being a little bizarre with the situation, and it sounds like because it was such a big outburst, there might be something else going on there that's maybe making her feel this way.
So, stood up, threw her cards on the table, cursed, said she wasn't going to play, burst into tears, and then stormed off.
It's a little much.
It's, yeah. And then he just says, that's not okay. She's being ridiculous. He says very sternly, so says that. She reiterates that she could have scored more if he'd been moving quicker. But then she goes to this idea that because he acted this way, he must hate her.
Yeah, there's something else going on.
This reeks of insecurity. I don't know. It's just wild.
It's a little immature, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's just kind of got the ick a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we say every time. Gaming is supposed to be fun. It's not that serious. Like, it's not worth. Back to what we said earlier in the episode, it's like some couples just aren't meant to play games together. This might be one of those situations.
Yeah. I mean, I've given the example before of playing Codenames with Nathan.
Yeah.
And somehow we end up on completely separate tracks.
Yeah.
But we can still do it. We're just frustrated with each other.
Yeah.
And it's fine. But then, like, my granny had a stroke a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, she completely lost the ability to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's gotten a lot of it back, which is fantastic. And I'm very happy for her. But it's still very strained. And it's like she has to relearn so much of her vocabulary.
Yeah.
So I was going on a trip with them, my parents and my granny and me, and I was conscious of games, and I was like, I have to make sure anything I bring is something she can grasp.
Yeah.
And then more so, maybe something she's already familiar with.
Yeah.
And so we played hand and foot, and I'll get to the funny part of this because I posted it in the Discord and everyone laughed. But we gave her a lot of grace to play. And if you give that initial 5 minutes, because I told, before I sat down, I told my parents, like, oh, go through the rules with her. But then when they started, she was like, oh, yeah, I remember all this. That wasn't exactly the case. But she did pick it up. But then at first she was reading like 2s as 3s, which is very important in hand and foot. They're very different.
Yeah.
And she was doing a couple of other things. And you have to be graceful if you want to spend time with people, because the point was to spend time with her and let her play with everyone.
Right. It wasn't to win the game.
And if we had been irritated because she forgot that she could cash in red 3s or she could do whatever, or that she was going slow, which she really wasn't, then it wouldn't have been an experience.
Yeah.
And as I posted in the Discord, she ended up winning. She ended up winning. So her and my dad set me and my mom quite badly. First round. And then my competitive nature was like, okay, we got to do that again.
This is not happening.
I can't lose to this lineup. Sorry. But, you know, that was great for her.
Yeah.
That was probably fantastic for her to win and be like, haha.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like the game itself's not that serious. It's more of a vehicle to get to spend time with the people you care about.
Yeah, absolutely. Top comment from Mrs. Sin. Sin with 2 N's, in case you're concerned. You learn a lot about a person by how they handle games, losing, and activities they aren't good at. I dated a guy like this, and I should have ended it a lot sooner than I did. When I found myself intentionally losing a game of Risk so he wouldn't get angry, I should have called it all off. Anger issues like this spill over into many different parts of life. I taught my kids how to handle themselves, and adults should be able to as well. This type of emotional dysregulation is both concerning and really unattractive.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Well, it was kind of like we said in the first story, was like, okay, this is clearly demonstrating that this type of behavior carries over into whatever activity it is.
Yeah.
So this person is advising this type of behavior is going to carry over into lots of types of experiences.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your knee-jerk reaction, instead of just getting like a little bit upset and be like, I'm sad that I lost. Like if your knee-jerk reaction is throw cards, yell, scream, curse, sprint out the room. I mean, clearly that's going to be their reaction and other things in life too, potentially.
Because it wasn't one thing. It wasn't just throwing cards down.
No.
She did like 5 or 6
red flags
things in a row.
Yellow flags. I don't know.
So Andeard responds to that first comment and says, this is exactly why I get either a board game or card game or cooperative video game in the early part of dating.
Oh.
This is pro gamer moves right here. Watching 2 people play games and cope with wins or losses is very informative. Just as learning how you both will problem solve and make peace will teach you a lot about how things get dealt with in the relationship. Also, it fosters a better discussion between dates about why they do what they do.
Well,
okay, this is wishful thinking.
Too far.
Nathan and I talk this much, but that's very unusual. It fosters a better discussion between dates about why they do what they do, if they are self-aware enough to piece it out. Sometimes bad behavior can get worked through early on by redirection via something as silly as a game with the right people. And for everyone else, it serves as a red flag emporium. Okay, so she brought it back.
I mean, it sounds a little bit judgy, but I mean, not that I necessarily agree with testing your partner.
Is it really testing? You just suggest to have some games. Game of life, ulterior motives.
Yeah. I don't know.
Monopoly? No, don't.
I mean, it's fair to see how someone handles something not going right in their life. Obviously, their reaction to that is going to be tall telling to what your relationship could be like with them in the future. So I totally get where that's coming from.
Yeah. I think how someone handles competition is really valid. One of the other illustrators of this that is a personal ick of mine is if someone's watching a sports game for people that they've never met or been close to. And they lose their minds over a score. That's so silly. You know, okay, it's fun to cheer for your home team. I got to live in Philly 2 years that we won the Super Bowl, and that was a very cool experience. But if you're watching Cowboys and the Chiefs, and you are behaving in a way that off-puts the other people around you because one of them has won and one of them has lost, I can't. I don't want to see it. Like, I can't tell you how many grown men I've seen treat their wives and children badly because their teams lost.
Yeah.
No. I can't do it. So, anyway, that's an aside. But playing a game and seeing how someone handles competition, I think is a great examination of personalities.
Yeah.
And how you're going to get along.
I mean, and like you said earlier, that compatibility with how competitive you get in a game has to be on par with your partner too. Because if one of you is taking it way more seriously than the other is, or you kind of have to be on the same page too, going into a game.
Yeah. So, this is another aside, but Nathan and I met in architecture school, and it wasn't exactly competition, but a core tenet of architecture school at UTK was presenting and getting feedback.
Okay.
So we watched each other get good and bad feedback in public settings multiple times. So we were dating when I had a professor that I really loved, but made me cry in front of other people at least twice.
Oh, no.
Because I had a presentation. I remember he'd gone through this portion of our studio class where he was like, plans shouldn't matter. Your section should be able to communicate everything about your building and your elevations and blah, 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 blah. So the next time we had a pinup, I didn't have a floor plan on the board. I was like, these other things are gonna these other things are gonna communicate all this different stuff. And I had these beautiful models that I had worked on in the wood shop, and I was all proud. And I do this presentation, and the professor goes, I don't have a floor plan.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, because you said
it was okay.
You said floor plans were for losers. Is what I took from what you've been teaching. And I didn't have one, and I think he had a guest. His wife was also an instructor, so maybe she was the other one critiquing. But one of them immediately was like, yeah, I don't know what your building is because you don't have a floor plan.
Oh.
And I was so heartbroken.
Yeah.
Because I'm standing there as a 20-year-old girl going, but
I put all this work in.
But I did what you said. And so that was another way early in your relationship to watch someone experience feedback, hardship, something that they can respond to, and you can pay attention to how they respond. I think this is the same idea. You're getting to see people in an environment where they probably want to succeed.
Totally.
And have the opportunity to gloat from winning or pout from losing or whatever it might be. that can help you evaluate them as a potential relationship partner.
Yeah, I would have never thought about that, but makes sense. Maybe Derek did that to me. Who knows? Just threw me into game nights.
He's like, I must see how she handles it. This will be so much of our life going forward.
I mean, valid.
This comment just says, run, brother. Oh, man. Yeah, some people are harsh. Impressive Car 4131 says, my ex lost his mind when our son beat him at a game. He threw the whole thing in the trash. I'd already long ago learned never to beat him, and now he's my ex for a reason.
Wow.
Dang, that stinks. Can't handle your kid beating you?
Gaming
That's
with
the
kids.
compliment. This one quotes, other boyfriends have been better at handling situations and just moved on. They say they really did move on. I would too. Yep.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Lots of people just saying, exit stage left.
I think board games could be the end of your relationship.
And yet,
Crazy.
This is the third story at least.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
It has been. So, this next part is not exactly a story. It's kind of a love letter.
No.
That was written on Valentine's Day, and I was with my husband, and we happened to be playing a game because this was the time when I was starting to acquire stories for the launch of this podcast. So I found this post. This comes from r/boardgames. Dear girlfriends of r/boardgames, Happy Valentine's Day, girlfriends of r/boardgames. Whether you like no games or the wrong games, whether you lose too much or not enough, whether you like board games at all or have to be dragged to game night under duress, this one's for you. You, the eternal bad sport, the one whose wrong playstyle ruins the delicate balance of every strategy game. You, the one who doesn't take it seriously enough when you dare to chat during someone else's 5-minute analysis paralysis spiral, but also too seriously when you dare to try and win. You, the one who just doesn't get it when you ask, reasonably, why anyone would willingly spend 3 hours calculating optimal worker placement moves only to be met with a wall of sighs and a lecture on efficiency. Happy Valentine's Day to the partners who were told to pick any game they like, only for their choice to be met with a barely concealed grimace and a suggestion to maybe play something better instead. To the ones who have dared to suggest that unstable unicorns is fun, only to receive a 20-minute dissertation on why take that mechanics are unsophisticated. To those who were gifted a copy of Terraforming Mars with a heartfelt, I thought we could play it together, only to discover that together actually means watching their partner goldfish solo for an hour before being told they just need to play a few more times to really understand it. To those who have been accused of ruining game night by not wanting to spend another evening locked in a 4-hour slog through Twilight Imperium. To those who have endured the agony of being called not a real gamer because they like codenames more than Brass Birmingham. To the ones who tried to love Gloomhaven but discovered that actually they prefer a game that doesn't require a 3-ring binder and a month-long commitment. To the women who have watched their excitement for a simple game get met with a condescending, oh, that's cute. To the ones who are handed a copy of Wingspan with the unspoken assumption that it's the game for women. To the ones who had the audacity to bring up a party game suggestion, only to be met with a grumbled, we were thinking something heavier. We see you. We honor you. And tonight, as your partner inevitably pulls out Mage Knight and sighs, you'll like it if you just try. Know that you are loved, you are valid, and you do not, in fact, have to play Mage Knight. Happy Valentine's Day.
Part of that made me sad. Girls like games too.
I know. This is a generalization. This is a generalization of a relationship between a very hardcore gamer
and a girl that's
and
not
a very
so into
light
it.
gamer. But I think it's so funny to be like, listen, I need to apologize on behalf
On everyone's behalf.
on behalf of an entire people group. And then some of the references like, yeah, pick anything you want. And then
Oh.
it's just so funny to me.
It is funny. There are a lot of funny lines in there.
I think we're blessed in our circle to have the women be just as committed and excited about
Yeah.
long games as the men. But I try to keep a gender balance in my stories, but sometimes based on the topic, they end up being one way or the other.
Yeah.
And there are more men posting board game stories on Reddit, so I have to love them for that.
Mm-hmm.
Women, send me stories and we will absolutely do your viewpoint.
Yeah.
But I just like this. I like that, yeah, you're valid and you, in fact, do not have to play Mage Knight.
That's so funny.
Shout out to a lot of games in there.
Yeah.
Top comment. My boyfriend happens to be my wife. Her boyfriend, on the other hand. So I think the implication is that it's
the other way
in
around.
their relationship.
Yeah. Get it, girl.
Cozy Sweatsuit responds, nah, Wingspan is for women because it's the best game and we're the best gender. Snaps in the chat. And then the last response says, let me get a girlfriend first. I just love that. That was so funny. And especially because I still felt kind of early, like trying to get in the scene. And I was like, what is this dissertation on relationship dynamics?
That's so funny.
Anyway. Okay. So, dating and board games.
Clearly, board games can have quite the impact on how you perceive your relationship, where your relationship might go. This has been a very interesting couple of stories just to hear how board game has affected the way people interact and the way they move forward in their relationship.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I told the story in the episode I did with Nate about, just positive stories, love of the game. And I told the story of like one of my first encounters with his family. They brought out a game.
Yeah.
And I whooped him.
Good for you.
Unapologetically. And
As you should.
And I was also being very sneaky about it, which is my go-to procedure. And I think that really made moves to endear me to them. Now, not every family can handle that, obviously. That's not a blanket recommendation, but again, I value honesty and authenticity, so if they can't handle that,
I was going to say, heck yeah, it is. Do your thing.
go off. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very common part of people's relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Being on a board game Instagram, a lot of accounts are couples.
Yeah.
And they love to play together. And sometimes it's very clear that the couples have different tastes, like in this little Valentine's Day letter.
And that's okay.
And sometimes they totally vibe. And you gotta go both ways.
Yeah.
Good times. Well, those are our stories on today's table topic. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Tell us about it. Maybe you have a story of your own you want to share. We'd love to bring it to the table. Check out our links in the show notes. Good luck on your next game, and we'll catch you again here on Table Topics.